Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.
Yep. There it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another motherfucking mini episode of My Mama Told Me.
The podcast where we dive deep into the pockets of black conspiracy theories.
And we finally work to prove the theories that you, the listener, have at home. Bow! That's what we're doing. You know the deal. I'm Langston Kerman.
And I'm David Gborie.
And we're gonna listen to your bullshit today. We're gonna riff about all the stuff you send us.
We're listening to the dumb shit you want to talk about.
Hey, dumb bitch. Why would you even...
Dumb. We were at work all day, working hard to put food on the table, and then you're just here with this drivel.
There you come. Here you show up.
You come with your babbling nonsense.
And we got to read it. I'm excited because today's conspiracy comes to us from a person named Raphael.
Love
I don't
that.
know.
Love
I don't
that.
know which one, but we'll
Love
say
that.
Raphael. And
Have you ever known any Raphaels in your life?
I feel like I did know a Raphael, which feels like a way different energy.
Than a Raphael?
Yeah, Raphael feels distinguished and charmed, whereas like a Raphael feels like you come from soot somehow, you know?
Goddamn dirty soot people.
Yeah, soot person, Raphael.
I thought it was just a pronunciation thing. I thought they were all the same.
Maybe, I truly have no idea, but maybe it's sort of like how, you know, certain names get pronounced weird and you're like, I don't care for that person. Mario versus Mario. I'm a Mario man. You know what I mean?
I'm a Mario man.
I don't fuck with Mario.
I always thought it was one of those names that, like, you think is for one group of people, but another people adopted it, like Carlos.
Oh.
You know what I mean? I've known more black Carloses than Mexican Carloses for sure.
Yeah, it's about even for me, but it's not. You would think it's entirely a Spanish name, and it is not.
Exactly. Juanita, I feel like, is another one of those.
Yeah, there's a lot of Spanish ladies named Juanita.
But anyways.
Well, however you pronounce your name,
I have nowhere else to
Raphael,
go.
I don't know. We're all on this journey together.
We all love the Ninja Turtles.
We all love the Ninja Turtles, and we accepted Raph's behavior largely because you need that energy in a group sometimes.
Yeah, he was the wild card.
Yeah, he brought a little bit of hot-headedness, but it'd be a boring group if there wasn't at least somebody to kind of like riff and yell at sometimes.
Exactly.
All right. Well, Raphael said, "Hi, Langston. Hi, David. Love you guys. Both of you are hilarious and make me love humanity each week." Woof, that's not our goal, but if that's what you're taking from it, Raphael, congratulations. A while back, I slid into Langston's DMs about my elderly black friend and how she slowly, because of the pandemic and misinformation, fell into every single conspiracy theory. First, she started to tell me about flat Earth. Then she didn't believe COVID is real or any pathogen. She started to hint about QAnon in our conversations, and now she thinks 5G is making her body decay. She just turned 70. I also recently saw that Kyrie is promoting conspiracy theories again. I love that man and I love my friend, but it gets increasingly harder to relate to them. As a Mexican dude, I get why we should not trust Whitey or the man or whoever controls the systems of power, but also understand that most people can't keep wild-ass secrets, and some of these conspiracies would take tens of thousands of people around the world to keep their mouths shut. I also understand why black folks especially shouldn't trust the people who run things. Recently, I saw this pyramid of conspiracy theories and wonder what you both think of this flat Earth is a gateway to conspiracy theories, or do y'all think the black community is more into flat Earth than other ones? Thanks, Raphael.
No.
You took a nice pregnant pause. I wasn't sure if you were deep in thought or finding the words. You don't think we're especially...
I don't know, man, because I've lost a friend to that.
To flat Earth theory?
just to conspiracy theories via YouTube and stuff like that, to where
Yeah.
it started out where it was just kind of like, it was like little shit. Like we'd be listening to music. This was when Migos like first came out,
Mm-hmm.
like with that. Remember that Charles Barkley song, 34 ounces of
Oh,
broccoli?
yeah.
You know
Yeah.
that broccoli. That was a great song. But it was like, we would be listening to that and he would be like, oh, you can't listen to them. Niggas idolaters and shit like that. And then it would just start to like bleed into like kind of every aspect of like anything we would talk about. And he would talk from this place of like, he had this knowledge that we all didn't have. And you just sort of, after a while, you can't hang out with him anymore. You can't just be around the guy anymore. So it's like, I understand that it's a slippery slope. I definitely think that conspiracy theories are gateway drugs and whatnot. Do I think that we have more of a problem with it than most? I don't think so. I don't see why we would.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen Black people as being more conspiratorial. I do think that Black people are more prone to spotting the fundamental flaws in the system. And sometimes the powers that be label those flaws conspiratorial. That, like, it is not a conspiracy theory to point to the school to prison pipeline that exists in this country, right? That, like, truly that is a very intentional effort being put in place by the powers that be. You decide who those are depending on day, time, circumstance. But that's something that we would point to and go, that yeah, that's a real thing. They want to lock all of us up. And then you have to call that conspiracy theory because of its exaggeration. But it isn't actually conspiracy theory. It's a real fucking thing that is happening from our government and officials.
Right. And yeah, I agree with that. I think that I just don't think our numbers are higher than anybody else's. I think systemically it makes more sense for us not to trust systems and institutions and things like that. But I guess I don't talk to white people about conspiracies enough to like, I will say that they always surprise you more. Does that make sense? Like, I feel like with Black people, it's usually pretty, if they're about that shit, it comes up immediately. Whereas I've had white people I knew for a long time, and all of a sudden you're at their house and they're like, talk about ancient aliens or some shit. And you're like, you?
Yeah, I mean, I think theirs always has a level of, and I wish this weren't as fanciful a word, but whimsy to it that ours don't necessarily.
They're not
always
dire.
have.
There's no stakes. There's no stakes to them. So it's like I think it's like a fun retreat.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense? Even like that flat earther shit. Like, did you watch that documentary, the Netflix documentary about the flat earthers?
I didn't know.
I watched it, man. And when I watched that shit, like, more than anything, I gleaned that it was like people in search of community.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like, they all cared about flat earth or whatever. But I think that, like, more than anything, they found community with other people on the internet, and they went to flat earth conventions and they dated flat earth people, and there were popular people within the flat earth world, and there were outcasts and there were nerds and there were everything that like we do with any other group of community.
Right. Yeah, so one of the things that Raphael sent to us was a chart, and I put it in the chat. I don't know if Olivia can see right now, but the chart that he sort of points to talks about the pyramid, the sort of like building of conspiracy theory. I think you pulled it up as well, Gborie.
Oh, whoa. Okay.
And one of the things that for our listeners at home, one of the things that this conspiracy chart sort of does is it tracks the grounded conspiracy theories all the way to the most sort of detached from reality, and the grounded being the bottom or sort of like the tip of the pyramid, then spreading all the way up like an upside down pyramid. And in the bottom, you have things like the Tuskegee experiment. You have FBI spied on MLK, NSA mass surveillance, that kind of stuff. And then it spreads all the way up to like QAnon, deep state,
Right.
Jewish space lasers is one of them. The trans agenda, hollow earth, Sandy Hook being fake, things that are considered to be sort of more so detached that it's a point of no return.
Right. Yeah. It's so hard with this shit because it's like conspiracy theories are fun, right? Like
Yeah.
who doesn't want to test the boundaries of the world and what you perceive and all that type of stuff? Like think about how much we have, how many things we have. Like it's like playing the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, but with adrenochrome. You know, it's fun, it's exciting, and I get that. But I say all that to say, I don't know if I think that Black people are more so into conspiracies than other people. I think it's a pretty culturally, I think it's like an American thing, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I will say also that like the further I go up this chart, the less it feels like stuff that I've heard Black people argue.
Exactly.
That like when I'm in the middle of the chart and it goes like Stevie Wonder is blind, I'm like, yeah, I know niggas that say that. And in fact, we did an episode on that, right? But then I get further up the chart and it's like Wayfair tracking, or sex trafficking, and like the phantom time. I don't even know what that is, but like stuff like that feels less Black and more like the detached, almost like whimsical version of this shit.
Right. And then you get to the top and it's like, I mean, I assume there's Black QAnon people.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying this lady, but even the lady he's talking about, I bet is not a QAnon person as much as a lady being like, I see what these niggas are talking about every once in a
also
while.
QAnon, I think more so than she's Black, QAnon does affect old people.
Mm-hmm.
So I would say that that's like less of her being Black. I think a lot of that stuff that she Raphael's friend fell into, I think is more the product of somebody maybe being older and alone on the internet and maybe not having the tools to navigate it. You know what I mean? Because like you've been on the internet so long, right? Like when you go to a website that's clearly like cheap and fake and full of bullshit ads, it doesn't look legitimate to you.
Yeah, no, I leave them shits immediately.
Exactly. But I think if you don't maybe know that much about the internet, then you go on there and you're like, oh, this could be real.
Yeah, there's stuff blinking on here. This is probably legit enough.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, I think that your friend is just old, Raphael.
And to that point, it also is like one of those the things look legit enough that sometimes the names of these websites are close to something that you kind of heard. And like my mother-in-law can't remember the names of people and things anymore. You know what I mean? Like it like most things are like she don't say Game of Thrones. It's like game that chair sits or whatever the fuck it is. And it's like, yeah, you kind of understand it, but you say the wrong thing.
Yeah.
And that's where they're at. Like you meant to go on fucking Washington Post and you ended up on Post Washington. And now all of a sudden they're telling you that fucking aliens are eating old booty holes. And you're like, the aliens are eating old booty holes. I don't know. The fucking Washington Post said it to me.
Yeah. I totally agree with that. I think that it's like, yeah, I think it's just old people shit. I think this guy's friend is old.
I will say even more in favor of what you're suggesting, the fucking Kyrie Irving of it all just feels like a dum-dum. Like that just feels like a person who doesn't read enough to justify the arguments he's making.
He never has any good answers. He just shuts down when people press him on that shit.
Yeah.
That's what gets on my nerves. You know what I mean? Like on that last press conference, they pressed him and he was just on some like, am I a free citizen? Did I share this? Am I allowed? And it's like, shut up. You know you have influence. Don't be like that.
Yeah, it's not. He keeps trying to make this a question. He keeps trying to point to whatever they're doing as a call against his humanity. That they're like trying to take his humanity from him. And it's like, bro, nobody's trying to take your humanity. In fact, we fully acknowledge you are an exceptional human being. And that's part of the reason why we're asking for you to at least address what the potential accountability could be out of what you're doing.
Exactly. Like, and acknowledge that what you're sharing is doing harm. He always makes it seem like, oh, I do no harm. That shit is harmful. That's harmful rhetoric, man. You don't get to be like that. Like,
yeah,
say hateful shit and then be like, oh, I don't know anything.
And it's a weird, I don't know. Grow up, you little
baby.
I don't know if you've been clocking this, but there now is like this weird campaign on ESPN of various like telecasters coming forward and being like, I don't think Kyrie means any harm by what he's doing. I think he's just ignorant. He doesn't understand, blah, 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 which maybe that's true, but it feels intentional on the part of like the ESPN sort of like NBA relationship to be like, he's not as bad as he's seeming like he is. And it's like, I think what he's doing is real bad. And it at this point, it don't matter really what his intention is.
Also, if you want to do some shit like that, then you need to know enough to stand on it. If you're trying to be out here and be a leader like that, then do your Googles, dude. Like, you don't get to like be out here trying to share shit and inspire people and then just have no personal responsibility when they come for you for being wrong. Like, that's like, you know what I'm saying? You don't get to be one. Are you a basketball player or are you a person who wields a sizable amount of influence and people listen to? You don't get to live in both of those. Take the responsibility or don't tell nobody. You know what I don't do? Tell anybody what the fuck to do. You know what I mean? I'm a comedian. I joke around. I'm not on my platform seriously, like telling people how to vote and shit like that. Because a lot of times I'm fucking ignorant about shit. I just got ideas. But like, if you're gonna be doing that, then you need to stand on it. You know?
And I will say that and it feels weird to defend this far from it, and with what people now say about the situation, but it is what I liked about how Cap handled his version of sort of like the peaceful protests and
Captain America?
Yeah, Captain America. God, I love that old white man. Colin Kaepernick, when he was sort of like taking
call him Cap?
We're dear friends. We've tossed the pigskin around a few times.
You call him Cap and you call him pigskin. I never know I can never tell where you're coming from.
Listen to me, motherfucker. You'll never relate to me. I'm different.
I tossed the pigskin with Cap. I'm built different.
You ain't built on this plane, baby. What do you still call it? A football with a nigga named Colin? Not me.
I love it. I love that that's where you're living.
No, my point is that he was grounded enough in the argument he wanted to make that he had the ability to have a thoughtful, clear conversation about it, even if that wasn't like the most informed version of that conversation. Like, he's not a dude you were looking to for like final product on research and resources, but he was a dude very articulate in, this is what I believe, this is what I know to be true statistically, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing. None of it is like accidental and oops, Alex Jones type shit.
Yeah, he didn't just drop a YouTube video and then kind of like not want to talk about it after people
exactly
tested. Which is fine. You have to acknowledge your place in this. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're too powerful to be making these kinds of accidents. Like, literally, Kyrie Irving is the greatest ball handler in the history of basketball. In the entire fucking history of anybody touching a basketball, he's the best at making the ball do what it's supposed to do, the way it works in all of our brains. And so with that, you have admirers that you're never going to be able to factor for, because of how good you are at a thing, which means you don't have the grace to just be casually irresponsible on some shit that, like, frankly, causes damage in people's lives, whether that's what you wanted or not.
Right. And that's like, yeah, that just is what it is. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You don't get to walk
like,
away from
it's
that.
not fair, but it's just, it's not fair that you make so much money and I don't.
And yeah, you got to eat out Kaylani. You're fine, big dog. You know what I mean? Get over it.
You know what you mean? It's like,
you got to do that. So,
Yeah.
Chill, bro.
Pretty good day for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We don't all get to do that.
No.
And we got to be more responsible somehow. Come on,
Some
man.
of us have been trying for years.
Trying for years. One time I almost bumped into her on the street in New York, but she had just left that block.
Oh, man.
I was married with a child, but
wait,
I don't know what would have happened. Yeah, this was like 6 months ago. But that's nobody's business but me, Kaylani, and those security guards that were still there. Waiting on a different van.
Oh, man. One day I hope you get to bump into Kaylani.
Thanks, man. We all got dreams.
You could do anything, man. I believe in you.
Anything is possible. That's what I'm going to yell when I see her. Anything is possible.
She's like, again, this always happens.
Why does this man keep yelling this at me?
Why do I meet so many men who quote Kevin Garnett to me?
Famous championship speech. Anything is possible. Repeated very loudly over and over again.
Oh, God bless it. I bet she smells amazing.
Yeah, no, I think she probably smells pretty nice.
What if she stank? That would be crazy.
That would be wild.
I always hope that, like, really beautiful women stink.
That's
like
a fun
taking it back,
theory.
Right? Like they're taking it back. Like, what if Rihanna just smells nasty? Because what are you gonna do? And what are you gonna do if she smells bad? You're not gonna do shit about it.
Here's what's beautiful is that you're 100% correct. But what's even crazier is there's a very real possibility she does, and nobody has done anything because, again, what the fuck would you do?
She could just stink like shit, and we have to eat it. And really, that's the most power.
That's power.
That's power.
You're going to the Met Gala and you are making every other like rich fucking slit dress lady person, everybody sexy in the room, just pretend like they don't smell something.
Like
that's
they don't realize
nuts.
that you smell like shit.
Just
they look
garbage.
you in your eyes. They hug you. They tell you how much Savage Fenty has changed their lives.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you are just farting.
Anna Wintour has to pretend like you're not fogging up her glasses with your stink, and she's fine with it.
It's weird. Is it weird that I love stank Rihanna more than regular Rihanna?
It makes her more grounded. It's almost
and powerful
a more
to me.
Relatable, powerful woman.
She's less approachable to me if she stinks.
Oh, yeah. I have no chance if she stinks.
No.
If she puts perfume on, I know there's still a weakness in that armor. You know what I mean?
There's someone she's trying to impress, but
yeah.
Stank ass?
Oh, man. Yeah, it's just her and God, baby.
I love a stank booty diva.
Damn. Well, Raphael, I don't know that the ending of this could have possibly helped with your question, but everything else, I think we addressed it. I think your question was specifically if Black people are especially flat earthers. I don't believe that to be true. I think you just happen to be tracking this through a limited group, one of which is an old person and the other person is a real dum-dum. And so maybe talk to some white devils out there and you'll find that the earth is flat on both sides of the coin. You know, that was a good way of putting it. I think I have no clue.
I loved it.
Gborie, could you tell the people where they can find you and what cool shit you have going on?
You can find me at Cool Guy Jokes 87 on Instagram. I'm around. Come see me November 18th at Faded Comedy Denver. FadedComedyDenver.com for tickets. We have headliner Steve AJ, who you heard on this podcast.
Steve AJ.
talking crazy. You can also, December 3rd, you can see me in Seattle, Washington. My aunties are going to be there. It's going to be a fun time at the Hereafter Theater. December 4th, I'll be at Helium Comedy Club in Portland, Oregon. And, otherwise, just watch Diddy as the Joker. Just go
Yeah.
watch some of it.
I will say that Gborie has not stopped talking about Diddy as the Joker
I love it.
since Diddy was the Joker. And we have very different feelings about Diddy as the Joker, but I do think it's important viewing. I think no matter where you fall on Diddy as the Joker politically, I think we should all be informed that Diddy is the Joker, and you should take the time to watch Diddy as the Joker.
Greatest actor of our generation.
And that's where we differ. But if you have different feelings about it, you can send those feelings to mymommapod@gmail.com. We would love to hear from you. And as always, you can follow me at Langston Kerman on all platforms. Okay, that's it. We did it. Bye, bitch.
Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode. Mini episode. Motherfucking mini episode.